If you haven't heard of us before, I'm not surprised. We're not quite yet 7 months old. So we're a brand new company. A few of you out on the floor over the last couple of days asked, are you an explorer or are you a developer? And I'm going to tell you right now, we're right in the middle. And I'll explain that going forward. Of course, forward-looking statement there. If anyone can tell me what the 22nd word was there, we'll give you some free stock. The number one thing I want you to recognize about our company, what makes us unique in the uranium space, is this slide. On the left-hand side, our total resources in the ground, they're combining historical resources and 43101. In our peer group, we're the gold-colored bar there. We're one of the largest resource holders in the U.S. We have almost 80 million pounds of the ground. They're not 43101 compliant because we're only 7 months old, but we are picked up 2 significant projects in a past producing district. But on the right-hand side of the slide is our market cap per pound compared to our peers. By going out and doing the work that we're going to do in the next 18 months, particularly in the next 12, there should be, and getting our news out there, this is a unique opportunity to move from simple exploration right through to being a developer in an 18-month-ish window. I won't talk a whole lot about geology. People will get mad at me in my geology union card. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about, we're US focused. I love to say that we are responsible for all the changes in US policy around nuclear. That was a bit fortuitous, but we were intentionally planning to be here because we just see, basically, if you can build it, they will come point of view in the US when it comes to uranium. I've been in the uranium industry for 25 years. It's never been this exciting. And I think if I talk to people who were in the golden age, I guess, of uranium and nuclear in the 70s, they'd tell you exactly the same thing. This company is well financed. We did $16 million in our IPO in March. Our board and management team, I won't even show you who they are, but they're led by guys with legends in the space like Eugene McBurney, Mark Christensen, amongst others. I was surprised that they wanted to even join a company our size, but they did. Market cap is a little bit, since I made this slide a couple of days ago, we've had a little bit of a run. We're pushing the $50 million market cap company. We trade extraordinarily well. We trade 500,000 shares every day on the TSX and 120,000 a day on the OTC. And the shares are, the insiders are pretty tightly held through escrow right now. I mentioned I won't talk about macro. If you want to talk about uranium macro, come talk to us at the open session because there's a ton of things. But I think what's just unique about the uranium space today, whether you have a left wing slant, a right wing slant, or you're in the middle, there's never been a more robust across the spectrum support for nuclear power and uranium. But I'll talk a little bit about us. We're in the Colorado Plateau. We have 3 projects, although it's kind of 2.5. We're in a past producing district that Union Carbide operated from in the late 70s and 80s. These were properties that were forgotten about because they were discovered right at the time 3 Mile Island occurred. And from the 80s through the 90s, it was essentially the nuclear winter of US uranium. Excellent infrastructure. We have a power line crossing one of the 2 properties, a major power line from an actual power plant that's 10 kilometers west of our westernmost property. We have highway access on both sides and an incredible trail network. I can drive to anywhere on the property in a pickup truck. Flagship project is Coyote Basin. This was discovered in 1979 by Western Mining, who many people who've been in the industry a long time will tell you was probably the best explorer in the world. Historical resource, so I can't tell you that it's 35 million pounds at 0.2%. We just added this week the Crossbones deposit, or formerly known as Skull Creek, 45 million pounds at 0.3%. These are projects that are going to be synergistic with each other, so we're working in one jurisdiction. At Coyote Basin, we just got our drill permit here. We announced it on Tuesday. Took us about 10 weeks to get to that point in time, which is extraordinarily fast nowadays. What we've been able to do is follow up on Western Mining's work, where we see 4 mineralized horizons that range from 1 to 40 feet thick over a 200-foot vertical extent. They're 14 kilometers long. They're open along strike. They're open at depth. Everything dips 4 degrees to the south. And they're actually open between the horizons, which is a whole other story I can't get into because we don't have 15 minutes. But I'll talk to you about it if you were more interested. This is not a problem for us to say, can we find something? This is a question of can we convert it into something that's mineable? Okay, so I'll focus in that little box there. This is Western Mining's roadmap of what they defined in their day in 1979. Those little red box, the red, purple, and yellow boxes are the areas where the mineralization exists at surface, and the only reason why they're cut is a little bit of topography. All we have to do now is go out and with our drill program and just prove up these resources. The existing data is not sufficient to turn into 43101 compliant resources. We're not even going to look at expanding the resource at this point in time. And I can tell you right now, those polygons are bigger than the actual resource that we're talking about. That's what it looks like. It's pretty, they're actually sampling the resource right now. Our first program in June was this out in the ground, proving up Western Mining's, what they already said things were or exactly where they are, and that was successful. Our phase 2 drill program, $5.5 million in 2 parts. The first part, 35 holes on those little polygons to say where within those do we need to be. We'll be starting that in mid-October. We'll be finished around the middle to end of November. And we're going to be able to put out results in real time because we're going to do gamma probe downhole results. We'll be able to convert that into inferred resource by the end of the first quarter, beginning of second quarter next year. And by doing so, we'll do a little of heap leach primary testing. We'll turn this into an open pit heap leach operation because all those polygons, just to let you know, were less than 250 meters or 250 feet or 75 meters from surface. This is going to be, if successful, an open pit operation with a heap leach back end. Our other project we just picked up, it's a little bit larger, it dips a little bit steeper, but what we found when we acquired the data set from the other project, this data set came along for the ride. It's actually wider widths. You can see from the downhole probing and that little inset. We have all the data, we just don't know exactly where the holes are. We know, if you know the US land system, we know what section that there are 55 holes on. They're all around that little star. So we know where it is, we just have to acquire the rest of that data. And we'll look at doing that work starting in the new year on a drill program to prove up the second sort of operational center of one single complex. Come back to here. If you are in the uranium space and you want a project that you want to be in the developer stage, well, we're not there. If you want to look at a grassroots Grand Slam opportunity from the Athabasca Basin, that's not us. But if you want to look at an opportunity to see a company re-rate with its peers and become a developer in the 18-month window, then Homeland Uranium is the company you should be looking at today. And with that, I'll leave it to you.